Hello. Thought we would read some Devos today. I didn't read them this morning. And I'm done working. So, heard some big news today. I don't know how I'm going to process this news, so that'd be a good time to go to God. Let's read. All right. Today is May 22nd. What does this say? When things don't go as you would like, accept the situation immediately. If you indulge in feelings of regret, they can easily spill over the line into resentment. Remember that I am sovereign over your circumstances, and humble yourself under my mighty hand. Rejoice in what I am doing in your life, even though it is beyond your understanding. I am the way, the truth, and the life. In me you have everything you need, both for this life and for the life yet to come. Don't let the impact of the world shatter your thinking or draw you away from focusing on me. The ultimate challenge is to keep fixing your eyes on me, no matter what is going on around you. When I am central in your thinking, you are able to view circumstances from my perspective. 1 Peter 5:6 and John 14:6. That's a good one. All right, now I have my pop can from my son and my Devos holding up the camera. So let's just switch these out super quick and pick a new one. All right, hold on. Okay. I got this new dress. We're going to Florida for my birthday. So I'm like in the process of buying a bunch of new dresses to wear to Florida because I want to be able to like pack light, and I just want to be able to like sleep in them, go to the beach in them, go shopping or to activities in them, go to the restaurant in them. I can get like a little sweater or a shawl or something if it's colder at night. I don't even know how cold it gets in Florida. I'm guessing not too cold. But so this is one of the dresses, so I'm trying it on. I bought like 6, but I'm probably gonna return 4 of them, keep 2. Anyway, that's a side point. All right. I don't know if I want to read this one. It's so long. God's manner of forgiveness. Now, therefore, the sword will never leave your house because you despised me and took the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your own wife. 2 Samuel 12:10. Let's not read this one. We will just read the end. Because we know the devastating consequences of our disobedience, let us diligently avoid every sin and run with endurance the race that lies before us. I don't want to read that one. It's just so long. It's not right for today. I find the way I word things on here makes a difference. Like if I say, I'm not feeling it, people are going to object. If I say I'm not in the mood, people are going to object. If I say I prayed about it and, God said no, then people are okay with that. From like the Spirit says whatever, it's like how you word things, people are going to react to it positively or negatively. It's all the same, but I find I'm hyper sensitive now to like how am I saying things that people are listening to and reacting to. But I can only be me, so I apologize that I am not a perfect human being. Let's see what this one is. Jesus is the prize. When we surrender our hearts to Jesus, we must make sure that the flesh does not take over again. Ask God to help you do His will and desire to please Him. As soon as you realize that the world has nothing to offer, you will realize that Jesus is the true and greatest prize. He is your heart's crown of great beauty. And then the verses are, Mark 9:23 through 24. If you can, said Jesus, everything is possible for one who believes. Immediately the boy's father exclaimed, I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief. And Psalm 119:66 through 67. Teach me knowledge and good judgment, for I trust your commands. Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now I obey your word. I was thinking about my yard work because I feel like God's been helping me with my home maintenance and my yard work and stuff lately. And it sounds so weird to say, I realize, but I have had this issue with, like, I am completely incompetent when it comes to taking care of home maintenance or yard work or anything that I would consider a man's job. And like, I struggle. It used to, I guess, I maybe not still, but I just be like overcome with anxiety about it and just not like be stuck, just stuck, frozen in panic about various home things, and always feeling like I need some man to save me, and even I've had somebody say to me like, well, Jesus is not gonna mow your yard, or Jesus isn't gonna do whatever. And it's like, there's that part of me that's like, yeah, I know, therefore I need a man to do that for me. But the reality is, what's been happening lately is I feel like God has been helping me with my home maintenance. So I have like 3 examples. This is a little off topic, but first there was this thing with I have this tree falling down in the backyard. I'll try to keep this under like 3 minutes. This tree's falling down in the backyard, and it was going to pull, like if it dropped, it was going to crash down against one of the wires that's attached to the house. And I'm like, is that my Wi-Fi? Is that my cable wire? Is that my, like, what wire is this that's going across the yard to the pole that the tree is going to pull down? I'm like, so first I was going to like get some of the various trees removed, and then that was a big drama and was going to cost all this money. And the people, of course, as usual, that I hired for the estimate were super shady. I can't deal with a contractor to save my life, right? And they had this thing in the contract where it's like, if you didn't reply with a yes or a no by a certain date, they were going to assume it was an automatic yes and charge me $10,000 for every single tree that I asked them to give me an estimate for. Luckily, I read that fine print and told them absolutely not, just because I object to your contract alone. There's no way I would hire you guys for anything. Then I was out, had no one to help me with my trees. And then I ended up taking a different approach and feeling like, okay, well, I'll just see if I can get this wire removed. And it was torture in the sense where I had to deal with like 3 different like companies. I think I had to deal with like an old cable company, the new cable company, my phone company. I think those were the 3. And, or the electric, I think it was the electric company. There were a few of them. And because it's hard just to get through to a human being. You're like texting, and it's horrific. Finally, I end up somehow magically getting them all to come out individually. And every time they came out, they're like, that's not our wire. But I'm like, well, which one's your wire? And they're like, oh, it's this one. And every wire, it was like, well, I wasn't using that wire. This was like an old wire. I'm like, well, can you remove it? And then they'd be like, yeah, and then they'd remove it for free. They'd like take down the old wire that was not being used. And then I'd have to start over with the next like electric company or whatever it was. And I went through this process 3 or 4 times throughout the entire process, ended up getting all of these wires removed that were unnecessary, that were like previously chained to my house, like connected to my house, obstructing the view. Like I would lie on my hammock and I would look up and I would be so sad, like, look at all these wires. And it would just it just bring such pain to my soul to look up at the sky from my hammock and see all these like 4 ugly wires going across my yard. It was painful. I'm gonna cry thinking about it, but I'm very sensitive to things like that. But anyway, so one by one, these wires kept getting removed. And then finally, at the end of it all, I ended up getting every single wire removed. Every single one of them was not being used. Every single one of them was unnecessary, and throughout this process got removed. And so now this tree that's dead and falling down can fall down leisurely on God's timing and land in the grass and not pull any wires down. And I can look up from my hammock and see blue sky. And it felt like my house was just set free, like just released from these chains. Like literally, it was so wonderful to like have that happen. That was actually like last year. And then I have like an issue again with various trees, and like it's like overgrown weeds that apparently if you don't cut them for a decade, they turn into trees like in no time. And then now they're where they shouldn't be. And it's just horrific to deal with. Like it causes me such stress. And I don't normally spend a lot of time, like I wouldn't normally be waking up thinking about my yard work or home maintenance, but I woke up one day and it just occurred to me, like, felt like Holy Spirit, you know, like if you just cut down one little piece, like one little branch from that, say one of the trees, if you just cut down one branch at a time, eventually I can remove that whole tree. I can remove the whole thing. I can remove all of them. If I just take it like one branch at a time. Anyway, so we started doing that yesterday. And then the other thing was my screen door. I've got this screen door that I can't believe this is making me cry. Home maintenance is such a struggle for me. That's probably why I really struggle with it. Because I don't have the money to fix anything. So everything just rots and gets ruined and then stays trashed. And then we live with it that way. But, anyway. I'll edit this out. So anyway, just the other day, okay, so we have this screen door, which is broken, and it used to lift up where you would lift up the inside the glass part, and then the screen would, you know, you could get the fresh air in the house. And now it's broken where the glass has to stay down. You just can't open it. We can't get any fresh air through that door. And then along the way, the cats have scratched the screen and ruined it. And I'm like, this is not ideal. And then I ended up taking tape and taping it on the scratches so that the scratch, like the lines of the rip, wouldn't get bigger. And then the tape started peeling off and it just was like looking so trashy. I'm like, this looks horrific. This is my front door with scratches all over the screen and tape all over it. And it's like just so ghetto, you know, it's like so horrible. And then randomly just the other day, like I think 2 days ago or so, it was this weekend, I woke up in the morning and it's the feeling where you feel like God's talking to you or like teaching you stuff. It's normally the feeling where I would be like asking God something and then it feels like the Holy Spirit answered me. But what's different about these times about the home stuff is I'm not asking. I'm just waking up in the morning and then it's like the answer comes, and it was like, if you take the screen off, like just cut the screen away, you'll be able to see through that window. So that one I did immediately. I woke up and almost immediately I just grabbed a scissors and I went over there to the door and I started cutting off the screen because it's not going to hurt anything. You already can't open it anyway. The glass is stuck right there. The glass isn't moving, you know? And I just cut away the screen and it got rid of the rips. It got rid of the tape. And now you can look through the glass of the crappy old screen door, and it's so beautiful to be able to see outside without that mess in the way. Just have a clear view to nature outside. It has been so wonderful to just make that one little change. And I still have an old screen door and I still have an old storm door and it all still needs to be replaced, but it's so much better now than before. So in these little ways, it just has felt like God's helping me. God's helping me with my yard work. Like, we have gotten over the issue of like thinking I need a man to like protect me and like do it all for me. But it's not just about me getting over that issue. It's like God's coming through and taking care of me and taking care of those things, like helping me with them, which I'm so thankful for. But anyway, I'm not trying to cry about crazy things on this video here. I apologize for that. We're at 15 minutes. We have to call it a day before the video gets too long. But anyway, that's it. Hope you have an awesome day. Bye.